Good day, everyone. Sabrina here. Hello. I'm going to be talking about Sandra McAuley's return to EdTech with coding with Scratch and this cool, amazing tool. So first of all, we started off with a cool activity, and she talked about how codes happen in life, like actions and that. So being able to spin or snap or clap or pat your head or hop. And we put all of these actions with symbols on laminated sheets of paper. And what we're able to do is do an interactive like hopscotch instead of just hopping. One of the cool things, like I'll post a picture of all of the little symbols that we use. There's like turning signals and that type of thing. There's also codes that have loops and that can repeat. So for example, when we were doing it, we had a code where we would pat our head and put a repeat on it, and so then that created a loop, which is kind of like a bug in a code. That's what the terminology is. And yeah, you can see that activity on one of the pictures on my blog. The next activity that she had us doing was this one where we would be able to, let's say, write a code of turn left or turn right or go straight. And you could put those pieces of paper on a magnet and put it on the board. And I'll post a picture of our code that we created, and we kind of went through like one of the barriers. You'll see on the picture with our line just going right through the black the black color. But anyways, and then I'll post another picture of Macaulay showing us how they work when they're magnetized and they can go on the board. And that's a code in itself, and being able to have all of the core competencies, and then they'd be able to work on reading and listening to others and being able to follow directions with those codes, which is really cool. Before we move on to Scratch Junior, I just want to share this free app that Sandra shared with us. It's called Team Shake, and you could use it on one of your iPads or what have you, where you can download the app, and you can use it instead of using popsicle sticks. It's a really cool app, and I really would recommend it to use it in your class. So now, moving on to Scratch Junior, where it's a great learning app that you can use all the way up until grade 7, and it's block coding, and it shows where you can learn what you've learned after you've done a lesson. So, for example, when we were doing it, she showed us how polar bears. A polar bear, they created a character and they moved it across the page, and then one person was talking in their own voice about polar bears, like facts about polar bears, which is cool once it crossed the page. And that's all because of coding. And what we started with in our coding experiment or experience within the classroom was we started with a cat page, and we dragged and dropped codes to be able to make that cat interact with other things. So for ours, we made the cat interact. I'll send you the link. I'll try and post the video of our cat hitching a ride on a car. And just timing it. That was the hard part, was timing it so it would be able to get into the car and then go with the car. And then you need a code to start, and you need code for motions or procedures, so for it to like go backwards or to go forwards in a sense, or go left or right. And there were sounds that could be added as well, and things that could be visible or invisible, which is really cool and interactive to have all of these different options to choose from. If the students wanted to record their voice, they couldn't really do it in the classroom because you need it to be pretty quiet for you to get it across. for them to hear your voice, but just to be able to do it out in the hallway or in a small space, that'd be awesome. And you can have pre-made backgrounds or make your own background by adding a picture, or you can add another character, like create your own character, like Sandra, she created a character, like one of those krillfish or whatever they're called. And they can draw their own character. Oh, that's what it was. It was plankton, not krillfish. Or moose. There was a moose also, moose on the loose. And you can code a basketball to dunk in the basket, which is another option to be able to get your students to be able to do and then give to you, so then you have that as evidence that they were able to do that coding. Another great example that she gave was the moose and the ecosystem. So she did 4 sessions with a grade 1 class, and this was like a summative piece where they would have to have the moose coded, so they would have the moose kind of like go in a walking kind of code, and then while he's walking, they were to state 3 facts about the moose and recorded in their own voice, which is cool because then you have them interacting with the technology, you have them engaged, and you have their own voice. Also, you can have learners code in a second language too, or do a fashion show in French. So what I was thinking is, my grandma used to always tell me these stories, and to be able to use these stories and code them on Scratch Junior and use my second language. So like for moose, it's J-O. So being able to use that and then put it into Scratch, and then maybe share that with my students. That's one thing that I could be able to incorporate second language into this lesson. And also the learning intentions, which is like simple. Become familiar with Scratch. You can make a sunset, you can make a moose, you can create a character, you can make a car drive across the street to be able to pick up a cat. Experiencing Scratch Junior, I was able to to be able to do it when you instruct. Please make sure to give instructions firsthand, and then be very specific with your instructions, so then they will be able to get the foundation of how to code, and then they'll be able to have more fun with it and understand it a little bit better. And if they don't understand it, look at it from a different viewpoint, and that too, to be able to reach the diverse viewers and unique students. Voice if they don't want to write it out. Also, the cool thing was that they were given the option to extend, and you can. So you can create another character that might be in a stream, and they're going down the stream, and they can be creative and be able to create their own creatures and create movement and all those other aspects of life and motion and coding.